So as I said, good morning. So I work for the World Wide Web Consortium. We do open standards for the web, and we've been doing that since 1994. We were founded by Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web. We've been producing a lot of standards ever since. We have more than 300 standards for the web, and we keep developing web technologies. The web platform, thank you, perfect, yeah. The web platform has been developing quite substantially over the years. We keep increasing it, and we are always extremely busy. We want the web also to be royalty-free, available for everyone around the world, as a matter of fact. Our vision for the web is that the web is for everyone. This is for all humanity, and it should be good for its user as well. We place the user in the center of the web. We are making the web for the users and no one else. It needs to be safe for its user as well. We want people to be able to navigate on the web without fearing for their privacy or security. And we want one web. We don't want multiple webs around the world. We want one web that works for everyone all around the planet as well. We've been publishing principles on how we want to move the web forward. And one of the main one that was published earlier this year and endorsed by the consortium is the ethical web principles. To make sure that we design the web properly. Another one that we endorsed earlier this year as well is a privacy principle as well. But we are working on multiple set of principles, including the ethical principle for the web machine learning as well, that we published last year. So when we talk about AI, a few a statement first. So there has been misinformation for a long time, for a few millenniums already. The fact that there is misinformation out there is nothing new to our way to communicate as such. The fact that code algorithms have biased as well is nothing new. It has been existing since basically pretty much since the time we were able to write some code as well. And the thing is, AI is learning from all of that. We are teaching AI by mimicking what we have been doing for millenniums already as such. So you can't really trust AI consequently. But you can't trust the web either, because the web contains a lot of information generated by humans. And we should just learn to live with that. So as I said, we published ethical principles for the web machine learning last year, and this work was based on works done by the United Nations previously. So if you haven't looked at this document, I encourage you to have a look at it. Now, when it comes down to AI, what we are facing is a very fast-pacing market. I mean, see how many times we're going to see the word AI during this conference is a good measure of how fast it's moving. The LLMs are moving fast. There is a new LLM published every single week. The agent protocols are also evolving as well pretty fast. There is a lot of competition as part of that. We are still climbing the hype curve. We are still expecting a lot from AI. It's not going to deliver everything that we are promised. That's for sure. That trend is not going to slow down at the moment. And still, there are some good use of AI and bad use of AI, and that's okay. Regulators are trying to not lag into this. They're trying to tame how AI is being developed and shared as well. So consequently, we are all learning a lot. So for example, in the world of open source, you're dealing with a lot of AI slop. You're getting pull requests from AI, from people that are just use an AI to generate their pull requests, and you have to deal with that. The security reports that are actually completely invalid because, well, the code doesn't even exist in your open source project. More recently, the AI Darwin Awards were also another project that how to actually misuse AI or overpromise over AI. This is also interesting. But at the end of the day, we are still learning. This is not going to stop, and that's okay. So why AI? Well, I mean, the fact is our world is becoming more and more complicated. We are doing a lot. We are dealing with a lot of information out there. We expect to do a lot of things to interact with our environment. As such, the world is getting more complex. And we, as humans, well, we have a tendency to be lazy. You know, we want to sleep at night, so we have only limited time during the day to actually learn. AI can actually provide us the convenience to actually help us deal with that complexity as well. We want something which is easy to use. We want to get the stuff done, and it should be easy to do it as well. AI can help us to do that. And we don't want to pay for anything. We would rather place some money in other things, so we want that to be as cheap as possible as well. Now, why do we care about AI and the web? Well, the web has been existing since 1990, and there is a lot of information on the web today. There are a lot of services on the web today, and AI needs to be able to leverage the web. Without the web, without being able to leverage the web, you're not going to be able to train your AI as well as it should be. Now, keep in mind that search engines today do not only expose like a third of what is available on the web. They don't index the entire web by far. And AI is going to face the same issue as well, meaning like being able to index the entire web is a difficult task and make sense out of it as well. And a lot of the web is not even accessible to search engine. It's behind walls or paywalls. So the web is much larger than what a search engine can do and what an AI can do as well. Now, when you think about, so who is consuming the web? Well, first, humans have been consuming the web since 1990. As such, as Tim Berners-Lee said during the London Olympics, the web is for everyone, and he meant us as humans. So the web is for us. Now, what's happening is with more and more with the tooling that we've been developing, and now with AI, we're getting more and more assistant to be able to navigate the web. We have been installing browser extension in our navigators, we have translators, and now we're getting AI agents that are there to help us to do that. And the web is also for tools. Crawlers, search engines that have been crawling the web for quite a long time. And what we have now is we have AI crawlers who are continuously crawling the web to gather information. Now, that creates some issues. From the publisher point of view, what's happening is they had a relatively symbiotic relationship with search engine. You get your users to you get the user traffic on your website, and the way to do that is you get indexed by your search engine in order to actually get people to go to your website. Well, AI is changing that dynamic, because it's crawling for your website and people do not click on links as much as they used to. We see all of the search trends are going downwards. People are just reading the AI summary and not clicking further as such. So it's suddenly changing entirely the dynamic between the publisher and the crawlers that are out there. And what's happening is we are experiencing an AI opt-out, where websites do not want to necessarily be indexed by AIs because they're like, we don't get any revenue out of that as such. So that's basically reducing the ability of data to potentially AI. The IATF, the Internet Architecture Board, organized a workshop last year in September 2024 to figure out how can we actually solve the problem, how can we evolve robot.txt to be able to deal with that. And IATF is doing some work to do this evolution. Now, from the point of view of your user agent, the user agent is basically the software you're using to go and browse the web. Most commonly, you know your web browser, but it's not only web browsers. If you may have dedicated tools to do that, and they are really acting on behalf of the user as such, meaning they need to exactly be honest towards the users and protect the users as much as possible from the web sometimes. Now, when we navigate the web, we access user applications, whether to order a pizza and stuff like that. So what the AI needs to do is twofold. One is the AI needs to help the application. The application needs some functionality that the AI can provide. So how do you, we need to make those availability for the web applications. So a good example of that is to be able to do face recognition during a video teleconference. And an AI can do the face recognition as such, so the application needs to take advantage of that. Speech recognition when you deal with audio, being able to translate text automatically from one application to another. And we're getting also more and more sensor data coming. The most commonly used is, of course, the GPS, but we are able to actually plug more and more sensors on the web as well. But the AI also needs to help the user, not just the application. It needs to, if I want to order a pizza, it needs to figure out what are the pizza places in nearby, order the pizza, access my digital wallet to actually make the payment, and so on. So those are the two dimensions that we are looking at AI when it comes down to user applications. So what do we need to do that? Well, I mean, the first thing is we need to connect the application to the AIs. So that the application can take advantage of them. We also need to connect the AIs to the applications. If we want the AI to be able to order a pizza, it needs to be able to plug into the application that are allowing you to do that as well. And those applications may be native, maybe on the web, maybe mini apps. We need to connect the AIs into that world as well. And we also need, of course, to connect the user to the AI themselves. So, connecting the application to the AI. That's where we have two kinds to do that. The first thing is we need to be able to run dedicated LLMs in applications that are not necessarily available as, by default. So we need to download the LLM on the client and be able to run it, and run it efficiently as well. So that's one aspect of being able to give an LLM access to the application. And the other thing we need to do is to be able to leverage pre-installed LLMs on the client side and let the application use them as well. So in order to run the LLM, one of the work that we've been doing for a few years is the work on the neural network API, which basically allow you to load an LLM and run it efficiently in your web applications. Of course, you can use WebAssembly, you can use WebGPU to do that, but we want to be completely device and hardware agnostic as much as possible, and let the user agent decide what is the best way to actually execute your model. Some devices, like on the available from Apple, supports multiple ways to run an LLM as well, and the API basically abstracts that as much as possible. So it's a low-level APIs to basically be able to run any LLMs on the client side. Now, the other way to leverage LLMs on the client side, as I said earlier, is for the ones that are already pre-installed on the client. And for that, we need APIs to access them. There has been work happening in that space. Google, for example, has been sending proposals for the past year. Right now, it's very task-oriented, meaning they have a dedicated translator API, they have a summarize API, they have a writer profiler APIs. They are iterating through what are the main important tasks that an application would expect an AI to do, which is useful for an application in general. And so that's ongoing work that has been happening. Now, the other aspect is connecting the AI with the application. This one is the other way around. I have an AI installed, and the AI wants to take advantage of the application. And for that aspect, we are getting a new generation of web browsers called agentic browsers. Basically, those are browsers who have embedded LLMs into them, can actually augment the experience that you have with the web applications, but also needs to manipulate the application which is being loaded as such. So we're getting new type of interfaces that are more conversational oriented, consequently on that. And when it comes down to, I have an AI and I want to use the applications, you have two approaches to do that. One is you basically use the AI itself. You take a screenshot, you transform your HTML into Markdown, and you analyze the code, the HTML code, to figure out, oh, what's happening in the applications. It works to a certain extent, but it's very difficult for AIs to be able to manipulate the user interfaces that were designed for humans. And for that, what we have is we can ask the developers to provide hints for the AI to be able to leverage the web applications. You can see that I'm using web slide because it's actually the overflow is hidden. And to be able to, the developers has two ways to do that. One is purely declarative, and the other one is, of course, using APIs. So, focusing on how the developers can help AIs that are out there. So for native applications, there is still ongoing work on that. You can use MCP to connect your application to AIs. You can use accessibility APIs available on the platform to try to figure out what's happening in the applications. Interestingly, for web browser, we already have been developing an API, but this API was done for testing, where we can actually manipulate the web browser from the outside to make it to operate tasks. Work can be done to adapt this API so that it's to make it available to as an MCP server as well. For web applications, we have two ways. One is declarative. We've been doing work for quite a long time on accessible rich web application already, way area, and LLMs can actually leverage this information to figure out what's happening in the web page. There is certainly work happening in the linked data space, where can we actually enhance the semantic of the information for the purpose of increasing the understanding of AI on what they're being up to. In the API space, a few weeks ago, a proposal was released by Microsoft and Google to do WebMCP. So this time it's, I have a UI in my web applications. How do I tell, can I actually enhance the experience of the AI and tell it what to do with that UI? And that's what WebMCP is about. It's basically connecting the AI to the user interface available as well. Now, finally, we need to connect the user to the AI. So agentic applications basically interact with human in two main ways. One is you can actually chat with the agent, and it's a conversation type of application. And the other one is using through suggestion, meaning you're doing something in the application, the AI detects it and will make suggestion to you on what to do next. So you're basically writing text within a text entry. The AI can actually automatically improve that text for you as well. Those are the two main modes of interaction that humans have with AIs. And we need to integrate that to put basically the human in our application as well. It needs to be event-driven, where the AI can generate events and to alert the human, but also you need to have a bi-directional interaction for the chat purposes as well. So what we see is we're getting more and more front-end integration on how to facilitate a developer to make those type of interaction available in your application very easily. On that, MCP UI and NLWeb are two frameworks that basically allow you to easily interface your agent to a human really easily. So, when it comes down to regarding agentic web, at the end of the day, what we want to do is to still make the web for human. The web has to be for human. I mean, we are to, that's after all, we don't want to change that. But we do need to enable human-AI interaction on the web if we wanted to basically leverage AI as much as possible on that. You'll note that I did not write, oh, we need to empower AIs. We don't need to empower AIs. We want to empower humanity. We want AIs to be able to serve humanity as such. Of course, there will be AI to AI interaction on the web, and that's perfectly fine. We have tools to tool interaction on the web happening every day as well. But the final goal should be to keep empowering the humanity as much as possible as well. And we need to make sure to do that in respectful manner for humanity as well. It needs to be ethical. We need to be able to respect the privacy of the humans, not necessarily having the AI basically gathering all of our data for us. And we need to be in a secure way as well. We don't want the AI to go wild on us and start doing things that we did not expect it to do. So a lot of work will be required to achieve that. And on that, that's a WeChat QR code, by the way, for those who are interested. But yes, we're going to keep, at WC, we're going to keep developing standards to basically make sure that we can interact, we can get humans to exchange information and services on the web, and we're going to do that by also allowing us to interact with AI as well on that.